I like that format for right now. Um, there's something about being able to just say what's there and get it out there. I do that often with my podcast. I have an idea, you know, for a topic around ADHD, and I will just get up, start the software, start recording, and then I put it out there. So that's worked for me. I'm kind of a short notice creator in that sense. Um, it's probably part of my behavior that could be labeled as a symptom or could be labeled as a disorder, ADHD under impulsivity. That said, impulsivity is actually not a bad thing. The way you calibrate your intuition, right, the gut feeling, to know over time like what you want to get engaged with, what you want to create, and what you don't, what works for you, what doesn't. It's all through intuition, right? It's like having those impulses where you go, "Ooh, I should try this," and you try it and it doesn't work, you fail, or you realize it's not for you. Then you're calibrating your intuition. Your intuition goes, okay, that kind of thing, that's not really where the soul wants to go, right? So just want to say that about that. Today's topic is kind of the topic of my life currently, which is slow the F down. Um, I'm assuming I can use the F word. I'm not going to, I don't need to at this point, because it's not a violent or aggressive or forceful slow the F down. It's really more of a calm, collective, internal slowdown. And I think it's more and more important in this society, in our world. And when I say this society, our world, when we talk about these generalizations, these groups, these labels, it starts with the individual, me. So when I say our world, our society, I'm saying I really need to slow down so that I can be aware, I can be grateful, I can see the beauty of love. Hey, what's up? Efrain, do you say that? Efrain Gonzalez? Sorry if I butcher your name, but it's a cool name. Efrain. Yeah, it's really cool. I originally from Switzerland, so they didn't have that name growing up, but I've seen it around. It's a name to celebrate. Beetlejuice. I don't like bald people. That's cool. I don't like people with, what I call the Gavin Newsom type of slick hair, right? We all have our preferences. Um, I'm technically not bald. I shave. I still have hair, but I just don't like the way it looks on me. So there you go. I'm going to continue just for now, but thank you guys for joining. This channel, this message, this movement, ADHD is over, is not for everybody. So I always tell people, if you're triggered and you don't want to deal with what's coming up for you, then you move on, right? It's what we all do in life. I don't try to tell anyone else my church is better than your church or my gym is better than your gym. I don't waste my time with that. Hi, Sandra. What's up, big boy? Wait, sorry, my sister. Angelic and Riley. Hello, hello, Sandra. I'm doing these lives because I have a book coming out called ADHD is Over. It'll be out in about 3 weeks. And if anybody wants a free copy now, just email me. Go to adhdsover.com. You can email me and I get your free copy. You don't even have to pay for shipping. I believe in what I do, and I've done research on ADHD for 10 years. I'm not sure if that question is for me about baseball. I'm not a baseball guy. I grew up in Europe. I grew up in Switzerland, so I'm a soccer guy. I played ice hockey. I did everything, but maybe that question wasn't for me. But if it was, baseball is not my thing. But I appreciate it. I can appreciate baseball, football, basketball, all the American sports that I didn't grow up with, right? So I see it and I go, wow, that's like athleticism, but I just don't know the game. I'm not in the culture. Most of my friends are not either. So anyway, back to slow the F down. It's a theme of my life right now. I've been going fast I've had a really fast life. Like I grew up, I was into all these sports. I was a DJ. I ended up working for Club Med on the Canary Islands, which is there's Spanish islands off the coast of Africa. I was a DJ there. I was an entertainer. I became an actor. I did so many. I've done voiceovers for you name it, Medal of Honor, films like Angels and Demons. I was in shows like Melrose Place and things like that back in the day. Like I I just went and go, 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 go. You know, it was a fast life. You like Ronaldo? I do like Ronaldo. Yeah. I'm assuming you're talking about CR7, Cristiano Ronaldo, and also the old school Ronaldo, Brazilian, both amazing, uh, really amazing players. I also like Messi. Um, so yeah, here's an interesting fact for the guy who said, or the person who said you don't like bald people. So I grew up, one of my childhood friends who I played soccer with, who I went to school with, is now the president of FIFA. So if you look him up, Gianni Infantino is his name. Him and I have a photo. Um, Him and I were in the same soccer team. I was the goalkeeper and he was a player, and we both had hair. Now we both don't have hair. So there you go. But Johnny is a good guy. I mean, he's now stuck in this FIFA job, which there's a lot of corruption and politics, and but he seems to like it. He was a lawyer. He worked at UEFA for a while, and then he went to FIFA. Anyway, little silly side note, but um, so all my life I've been going fast, and I've been going fast in relationships. I've been going fast in jobs, work, money. Everything was way too fast. And look, that's the world right now. Like we're being told you have to go fast, you have to grind, you have to go get it, make millions. Like there's that whole what I call the fast track. I'm not into the fast track anymore. Um, if you're under 40, you probably, you would kind of automatically guide it there. Although I'm seeing more 20s and 30 something younger people like wake up and realize that that's actually a carrot on a stick. It's a dead end. You can get there, but so many people have with so much money and fame, and they were so unhappy still, and they committed suicide and all that stuff. And not everybody, but the fast track is really hard for anyone to stay like grounded and make good decisions in life. The slow track, on the other hand, is where I'm heading, which is less hoopla, less noise. I moved to a smaller town. I have more nature. I slow down as much as I can. I meditate. I really take time to think about. You play travel baseball. Cool. That sounds fun, especially travel. I used to do travel soccer. We'd go to different towns, and I'm assuming that's what you mean. Um, Really fun. Yeah. I love the camaraderie. I love the traveling. I love the competitiveness. So yeah, well, tell me if anybody's interested in anything, if you want to discuss something around ADHD or slowing down, I'd be happy to talk about that. I don't want to just, usually I use this kind of like a little bit of like an audio diary so I can, share out loud the things that are going through my mind. And usually there's people that are interested in it, or they will ask interesting questions around it. But I have a research project around ADHD. There's a podcast, the documentary films in the making. There's a teaser on YouTube. If you look up ADHD is Over, there's a film teaser. The podcast's been out for 5 years. I've over 200 episodes, and the book is coming out now. So I'm excited about that. Have you ever went to Nevada? Yes, I've been to Nevada. Couple times. Well, no, what am I saying? Multiple times to Vegas when I was younger, maybe like 5 times. And then we went to see a family friend in, I don't remember the name. It was a kind of Western town with lots of tourism, something silver. I don't remember, but our family friend took us there, and he also took us to a gun range, and we went to hot springs up in the mountains. It was snowing while we were in the hot springs. It was amazing. It was awesome. I actually like Nevada. A lot of people say things about it. Oh, it's too hot or too this or too that. No, I haven't been to Reno. Have I? No, I don't think so. But yeah, no, I have a fondness for the desert. I'm a filmmaker by trade, and I shot a bunch of music videos and short films in the Mojave Desert, and it's just, I mean, wherever you point the camera, it just looks like a movie. It's just amazing. It's beautiful. You know, being from Switzerland, I grew up in like tall mountains and snow and cows, and so when I came to the desert, I was like, damn, this looks so cool. This is like a Western. This is like this typical like California, Nevada. I mean, there's other states obviously that have desert, but like this idea of the American Americana, right? Um, so to see like a cool vintage car drive through the desert. I went to see my sister in Reno, Nevada. Cool. Oh, so she lives there. Awesome. Yeah, I heard a lot of people, not just from California, I live in California, but a lot of people have moved to Reno and are sort of, I guess it's becoming more, I hate to use the word cultured, but like there's more art and there's more, that's what the word they used. I wouldn't use that, but I just diverse, or there's just more activities available, restaurants, different things, artists, spirituality. A lot of those things are happening in Reno. So I looked it up the other day too, and I was like, oh, I wonder what that's like and what are the prices out there for rent and uh, buying homes and stuff. But I'm not in a position to buy a home right now, but hopefully in the next, I don't know, 5, 10 years, we'll see. Um, yeah. So, slowing the F down has been my motto. And like in our society, we're scared to slow down, right? Because we've been so like we've trained our brains or our minds from a young age to distract and to be entertained, to not be bored, to not be quiet, because quiet equals uncomfortable. Boring is uncomfortable, right? We're sort of avoiding the uncomfortable feelings. And my mom, I grew up in Switzerland, I mentioned this, she would always protect us from like, if anybody was sick or dying, or if there was an event that was bad or something, they would just not tell us, because obviously they didn't know better. It was coming from love that, oh, if we don't tell our kids these bad things, then they don't have to be worried or have fear, right? So I see the good intentions, but it's created in myself and my brother two adults that are now, they're struggling, that have a really hard time to be with negative emotions, right? And by negative, I just mean negatively charged, meaning feeling more uncomfortable than comfortable. So that's the problem, when we have uh, people who sort of shield us from the uncomfortable feelings. So we got to feel the uncomfortable feelings. That's the only way. You can not go around it. We have to go through it. And the way we do that is by feeling them in the discomfort of slow and quiet. So slowing the F down is getting more quiet, which my uncle's got a job in Twin Peaks. Cool. That's a casino, I'm imagining. Um, Not a job, career job. So that is the only way to actually feel the real feelings, to allow for that to come up. And the reason why I'm sharing this is because it's actually very simple. The more bored we can be, the more quiet and slow, the more those feelings that we've tapped down since our childhood can come up and be felt. Once they're felt again and again, and you actually sit with them and you don't make them wrong, remember, what you resist persists, they can move on. It's called emotion, energy in motion. They can move on, and you're no longer burdened or constraining yourself with those old feelings that have never been felt. So I know that's a mouthful, but oh, and hi. Yes, Twin Peaks is a restaurant. Oh, got it. Cool. So that's all I wanted to share. It's just a little bit about, like I said, my book's coming out soon. If you're into ADHD research, most people are not, but if you have been told you have ADHD, or you're curious, or you know somebody who is, it's probably here. It's probably one of the thinnest books on ADHD. It's 150 pages. I packed it full of great information, but it's really more for people who are ready to shift their perspective on ADHD. It's not for people who are already convinced, who have convinced themselves that it's a disorder and have convinced themselves that medication is the only effective thing, who have convinced themselves it's a lifelong condition, who have convinced themselves that it's genetic. All those things I question with valid studies and resources. And I've interviewed hundreds of experts in the field. So check it out. It'll be out in 3 weeks, and I'll have some link when that comes out, obviously. But I got to go wake up my 14-year-old who's been up till 2:30 a.m., which probably at that age they should be, right? At home playing with friends online. He's a good kid. So I got to wake him up because we're going to call his brother, who's almost 17. He's doing a year of high school in Ecuador with his mom. His mom's from Ecuador, my ex-wife. So he's down there. We're going to, we have our weekly calls together so the brothers can stay in touch, which my brother and I never did, unfortunately. And we're good. He lives in Switzerland still. I'm here in the US. So it's a distance, but when we see each other, we have a good time and we talk here and there. And but it's definitely not as strong of a bond as it could have been had we also had our parents, said, hey, you guys should connect. If I can share with you guys anything, and I don't know what age you are, but if I could share to younger than me, I would say I wish no benefit, even the flow of a race car driver or a sprinter, right? When they're in the flow, it's actually slow. It's not fast. It looks fast on the outside what they're doing. But for them to get into the flow, they have to slow down and connect with source so they can be in that flow. So I always tell my kids, slow is fast. There's no, if you rush something, you make a mistake, you have to do it over again. Now it's taking you double time. So slow is fast. For a while, they would be like, Dad, that doesn't make any sense. When they were younger, they're like, that makes no sense. Slow is slow, fast is fast, but slow is not fast. But now they're starting to see that. And it's beautiful because I'm starting to finally live that. And without telling them about it all the time, I think they're noticing that I'm more present with them, that I go slower, that I make time for certain things that before I was like, I'm busy. People always say I'm so busy. I guess workaholism is the most underrated addiction, true addiction. Because addiction, the definition of addiction to me is when you do something over and over that you just cannot stop, but it's not really good for you. There's other definitions. People define it as, somebody recently said, oh, addiction is like doing the same thing over and over again, but not getting the desired result. That's a little bit more like insanity. You just cannot stop on your own. You can't not do it. You've trained